Hey, it's Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on NewsTalk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Well, it seems as though any repeal of Obamacare is a dead issue as of right now. Of course, Republican senators have been battling for a while, trying to come up with how to repeal and replace Obamacare. They couldn't get a deal done, and then the Senate Republicans said, okay, forget about it. We'll just go ahead. Mitch McConnell said, we'll go ahead and we'll just repeal Obamacare and then wait till later to repeal it. Well, that plan effectively was killed on Tuesday with opposition from at least 3 GOP senators. Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins came out and said there was no way they could repeal Obamacare without some plan already being in place to take over after Obamacare goes away. So where are we right now? If you go back and watch some of the other videos that I've done here on YouTube, some of the other shows that I've done where I've talked about this, I've said for a while that it's going to be very difficult for Republicans to repeal Obamacare. They don't have the votes to do it. They haven't had the votes to do it. And even bigger than that, they weren't prepared to do it. And I think there's a large contingent of Republicans that don't really want to repeal Obamacare. They prefer Obamacare over where we're going to go next, which I think is a single-payer system. Now, that doesn't mean single-payer system next year, doesn't mean within 2 years, but I truly believe that within the next 10 years, we're going to have a single-payer system here in the United States, whether it mirrors Europe, whether it mirrors the Canadian system, whatever it may look like, it's going to look completely different than what we have right now. Democrats who are watching this are cheering. Meanwhile, Republicans and small government conservatives are horrified by what I am saying. But let's just look at where we're at right now in the United States. We have a group of people, lawmakers and voters, citizens in the United States, who believe that those with pre-existing conditions should pay the exact same on health insurance as someone who is completely healthy. Not going to happen. There's no way that can happen. In fact, if you include those with pre-existing conditions into insurance markets, there's no way it can work. It's just like if you have a home and your home catches on fire, you can't call State Farm or any of the other insurance companies and say, hey, I need insurance. My house is currently on fire. It doesn't work like that. You get insurance before you become sick. Now, of course, we're in a position right now where if you look politically, you do all the polling, pre-existing conditions and covering pre-existing conditions are favored by a majority of Americans. The only way I think you can even make it work is going to a single-payer system, unfortunately. I don't know of any other way to make it work, and that's where Democrats know they've got the GOP by the, well, whatever you want to say. But they know they have the GOP right where they want them. They know the Republicans can't come up with a better plan because Republicans are scared to death of what the polls will look like if millions of people become uninsured. Now, the Republicans really don't think about whether or not the people becoming uninsured are people who choose not to have insurance or people who are just kicked off of plans altogether. Republicans don't think about the cost that people are already having to shell out because of the individual mandate that is associated with Obamacare. We can't even get rid of that. Republicans have failed U.S. voters. They have failed the Republican voters, and they will continue to fail moving forward. President Trump, during the campaign, you said you had an idea that you had a plan to tackle health care. Where's the plan, President Trump? Where are you going to come in and show real leadership instead of saying, well, we're just going to let Obamacare fail and we'll pick up the pieces later on? President Trump saying that he's not going to own this, that Republicans won't own this. I hate to tell him, it's usually the American people who decide who to blame, not the President of the United States telling the people who they should blame. But Republican voters will blame Republicans, and they should. Republican politicians for years, for 7 years, have been saying put us in office and we will repeal Obamacare. They were never ready to do so. They were never really, really prepared to repeal Obamacare. This is a shameful act from the Republicans, a cowardly way to back off and decide not to move forward in repealing Obamacare. And it shows that they don't have their crap together, and I don't think they have it together for any other major pieces of legislation that should be coming down the pike this year. Remember, in 2018, it's another election year, and you're not going to see a lot get done because everyone's running for office. This year is going by quickly. We have an August recess coming up, which I think the Senate will probably take a little bit earlier than what they were planning on last week. You have the debt ceiling. You have a budget. You have so many other issues coming up. Are we really going to see tax reform done? Are we really going to see regulations get cut? Are we really going to see everything that Republican voters wanted? No, not even close. And why? Because we have a bunch of Republicans running around Washington, D.C. who are spineless. It's pretty sad. Maybe it's time to repeal and replace in a primary a number of these Republicans in leadership positions. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 a.m. KFYO. Tune in, and remember, you can watch the Chad Hasty Show here on YouTube. Now, just log on between 8:30 and 11 a.m. Subscribe to our channel, and you'll be notified whenever we go live. Follow me on Twitter, Chad HD Radio. Have a great day.